What's up guys, welcome back to Finance to Fly. My name is Luke and I'm here to help you elevate your travel while minimizing your spending. Today we're going to be covering the Capital One Duo, which consists of the Venture X and the Saver One. So first off, for these cards, the combined annual fee of them are $395. Zero of that is coming from Saver One, and then $395 of that is coming from the Venture X. The Saver One has a sign-up bonus of $200 cash back after $500 spent in the first 3 months, and that will be turned into 20,000 miles because of the Venture X, and you're able to transfer the cash back to miles. And the Venture X has a sign-up bonus of 75,000 miles after 4,000 spent in the first 3 months. Hitting both of these sign-up bonuses within the first 3 months will net you about 105,000 Capital One miles. So for earnings rates, these cards have 10 miles per dollar spent on hotels and rental cars through the travel portal, 8 miles per dollar spent on Capital One entertainment, 5 miles per dollar spent on airfare and other travel purchases through the travel portal, 3 miles per dollar spent on dining, groceries, and entertainment, and then 2 miles per dollar everywhere else. That covers everything at a minimum 2 miles per dollar, which is really good. So for benefits, these cards have insurances and stuff like that, and I have videos on both these cards. You can go check them out. I'll link them down below. But the main benefits everyone wants to hear is you're going to get $300 travel credit on the Venture X per year to use through the travel portal. Then you're going to get 10,000 bonus miles on each card anniversary. So in the end, you're paying that $395. You'll get $5 back after all the credits are settled. So to understand what makes this duo so great is you got to compare them to Chase and then Amex's trifectas. First, for Amex's trifecta, you're going to have an optimal setup of 3 cards: the Amex Gold, the Amex Platinum, and the Blue Business Plus. The Blue Business Plus is a business card, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for a personal card user just to get a business card. It has a limit on the 2 point per dollar multiplier. It supplies at $50,000 per year. Again, the Amex Gold has a 4 point per dollar multiplier on grocery and dining, but it has a limit of $25,000 spent on grocery and then $50,000 spent on dining. That puts a damper if you spend a lot of money in those categories. Then lastly, the Platinum has a 5 point per dollar multiplier category on airfare. That I think also has a limit of $500,000. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure I saw something that has a limit on that. Either way, another limit on how much you can spend. And yes, I'm talking about the multipliers. I'm comparing that to the Capital One. I'm not even talking about the $1,020 annual fee combined bill you would have to pay each year to hold these 3 cards. That's $625 more you're paying out of pocket each year for annual fees than you're paying for the Capital One. And yes, it does have coupon book style credits, but they're so much harder to use. You would have to keep track like 10 different credits in order to be able to get back all that value. Capital One is just so much easier to use. You don't have those credits, you don't have high annual fees, and you get lower multipliers, but you don't have limits. So now onto Chase's ecosystem or trifecta. I refer to their trifecta as the Freedom Unlimited, the Sapphire Reserve, and the Freedom Flex. The combined annual fee of these are $550, which is again $155 more than Capital One's. The multipliers are 10 points per dollar spent on car rentals and hotels through the travel portal, 5 points per dollar spent on all other travel through the travel portal, 3 points per dollar spent on all travel outside the travel portal, dining, and then drugstores. You also get a rotating 5 point per dollar quarterly category that has a limit of $1,500. Nice thing is though, you'll get a minimum cent per point value of 1.5 cent per piece, especially if you have the reserve, because you can redeem those through the travel portal for a minimum of 1.5 cents per piece. As you can see, the multiplying categories just don't hit everything like the Capital One's does. You have a lower bottom with 1.5% cash back instead of 2 points, and you just have a higher annual fee. But you do get better purchase protections with Chase and travel protections with Chase, and that is one of the negatives of this. They don't have the best travel protections. They also don't have the best transfer partners. They have a good list, but they don't have the best. I would refer Chase's better than theirs and Bilt's better than theirs, but in the end, that's up to you to determine who has the better transfer partners. So moving on to some of the redemptions you can do with Capital One miles, we're going to keep these simple to all 3 business class flights, and they're all going to be going over to Asia. So for this first redemption, we're going to book through Singapore Airlines for a Singapore Airlines business class flight. This is going to be a round trip ticket from JFK to Bali. It's going to be 287,000 points in business class. It's expensive, but it's round trip. It's one booking. You don't have to book through multiple airlines, and you're going to also have to pay $53 in taxes and fees. This same ticket and cash price is $8,500. That is a huge difference in cash price versus point price, and gets you a nice 2.94 cent per point value, which you get when you subtract the taxes and fees from the cash cost and divide by the points amount. And so keeping up with the same, we're going to keep these next two redemptions. We're going to have you both going to Tokyo, just two different ways. The first will be from Seattle, flying on Japan Airlines business class. It's going to cost 75,000 points and about $228 in taxes and fees. And you're going to transfer these points over to Qantas, which is a good transfer partner for Capital One. The same ticket will cost $3,800 and some change. You're getting a nice 4.82 cents per point value when you book through Qantas for this ticket, which is pretty good. Lastly, we're going to be flying from the Midwest to Tokyo, specifically Chicago. It's going to be a harder to find flight because it's harder to find stuff East Coast to Southeast Asia or Asia. But either way, this one's going to be a little bit more expensive in points. You're going to be booking through Virgin Atlantic. You're going to be booking Korean Air. You're going to be flying in Korean Air's Prestige business class from Chicago to Korea to Tokyo. This will be 115,000 points and $38 in taxes and fees, but it's better than the $4,100 airfare ticket for the same one-way redemption it would cost. You're only getting about 3.51 cents per point in value out of this ticket, but it's still really good because you're flying a different airline to Korea with a stopover. Maybe you can make a stopover in it. I didn't look into that, but I think you can stop over in Korea, then you get to hit up Tokyo. It's a great way to fly over there. I mean, Korean Air's Prestige business class, especially if you're flying from the Midwest or the East Coast. So now for my thoughts and who I think this duo is for. Well, I really do like this duo. It's two cards, it's easy to use, you don't have to really think about it. You pretty much have the Saver one for all your food, then you have the Venture X for your travel and everything else. It's simple like that. I mean, obviously you don't get the best travel protection. You do get some though. And those some are good enough to say that it's nominal to what you're paying for annual fees, right? I would say this is the best duo out there because it just costs $395 instead of $550 or $1,020. It's nice, it's simple, it's easy to use. It's just much better than the other card issuers' ideal setup, right? Obviously you can mix and match from different issuers like I do. I use Amex, Chase, and Capital One. But if you want one card issuer, this is the way to go. That being said, I think this card duo is for whoever wants just an easy use card setup. Doesn't have to worry about so high annual fees and just being like, oh, is this for this card, this for that card? No, you just get two cards. You have to use one for food, one for travel, everything else. Not to mention you do earn a pretty good sign-up bonus from hitting both these cards, a little over 100,000 points. That can get you anywhere pretty much. So all in all, what do you think? Do you have these cards? Do you have one of these cards? Do you have none of these cards? What's your card setup look like? I know this is the second video in a row I've talked about card setup, and I just really want to know what you guys think, what you guys use, and what your thought process behind that is. Let me know down in the comments below, and if you could hit that like and subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, have a great day.